Good evening, and welcome to Eleanor's Place. We're so happy to have you to tune in with us on this beautiful, gorgeous Wednesday evening. And we have some interesting topics this year around. Today, we're going to start out with stroke awareness. This is Stroke Awareness Month. And we have Miss Pat Lane with us, who's going to talk with us concerning stroke and high blood pressure and all those good things that will help us to stay a little bit more healthier. And we also have Jo White here. She's with the Guardian Angels, and she's going to be speaking and talking with us about an upcoming walk that will be held in the city on June 2nd. However, we have trainings at different churches that are coming up this weekend. And we have Dr. Hollings, and she will talk with us concerning cervical cancer. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves and say a little bit about themselves. Dr. Hollings, we're going to start with you first.
Okay, I'm Jennifer Hollings. I'm a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist. I have a practice, it's called Capital OBGYN, and our office location is at Richmond Community Hospital. And we practice full service obstetrics and gynecology.
Thank you. Jo?
And I'm Jo White. I am the commander of the Richmond Guardian Angels. We're stationed over in the Highland Park section of Richmond, and we work on several community-based projects. And one of the projects that we're working on now is the Time to Live Breast Cancer Awareness Walk, which I'll be talking about today.
Great. And Ms. Lane?
Hi, I'm Pat Lane, and I'm a neuroscience coordinator for Bon Secours Health System in Virginia, and I am very happy to be here during Stroke Awareness Education Month and to spread our pearls of wisdom with you.
Okay, thank you, ladies. This is going to be very interesting this evening, and we're going to ask that if you have any questions, give us a call, because I do believe that the number will be across the screen. And of course, all of us are certainly working together to keep communities healthy. And Ms. Lane, I'm going to start out with you concerning Stroke Awareness Month, which is this month, and give us some symptoms of someone who may be having a stroke.
Okay. One of the things I want everybody to remember, and it's really easy to do, is to learn or say the word FAST. We use that as our acronym for the signs and symptoms of stroke. So F stands for face. If you see someone that their face is drooling or it's not symmetrical, they may be having those signs of stroke. A stands for arm. We'll ask somebody to lift their arm to see if it is drifting. S stands for S stands for speech.
Right.
See, I was just doing that right
I
there.
know.
Could you find the right words? Was it garbled? Are they not saying something that you understand, and they usually talk clearly? T is number one, time. We have to know what time they will last well so that we can act on those stroke signs and symptoms quickly. Because in the world of stroke, we say time is brain.
Okay, so now we want to have you go over FAST again, because we want everyone to think about FAST when we think about stroke.
Okay.
Hit us like that.
All right.
FAST.
F stands for face. You want to make sure that the person's face looks the same on one side, that they're not drooling, or that their side of their face is not lower than the other. So it needs to be the same.
Good.
And we look at them, we usually ask them to smile so we can see that. A stands for arm. That means that arm may be heavy, they can't lift it, and it's adrift. S stands for speech. so they may not be able to talk, or when they come out, they start talking, it sounds really funny and you can't understand it. And then T does stand for time, and time is the last time known well, so that we can be able to hurry up and call 911 and get help.
Okay. And are there other symptoms that we need to look for as well?
Those are the main ones.
that
But
we
we
need to-
also would like to know their risk factors, and I want to talk a little bit about that.
Good.
Especially for our community, the African American community.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, you know, sometimes we like to be number one, but this is not the time to be number one. And African Americans with stroke, it is our number one cause of death. So we really need to look at the risk factors that we can change and modify to help us from having those signs and symptoms of stroke. One is definitely smoking, okay? We need to stop smoking because it does a lot to our arteries, it clogs them, it messes up our oxygen, so that's one thing we need to cut out and we can change right away. The next thing is obesity. We'll talk about that. Everybody, couch potatoes are not good anymore. We need to make sure that we're eating and moving and exercising. And the other one is cholesterol and blood sugar. We want to make sure that we know our numbers. So if there's nothing else that you get from me today, I want you to know fast and to know your numbers. Hypertension, which is your blood pressure, we want to make sure you're getting that checked and that you know your numbers. And cholesterol, we want to make sure that you have a good cholesterol so that you can keep things moving inside your body and your blood and arteries are doing well.
And I just wanted to ask about how many times a year should we, go to a screening or, because there are screenings all over the city at certain times.
That's right.
Or go to a doctor or somewhere where we can get our blood pressure and our cholesterol and our diabetes checked done.
Okay, some of this is age dependent,
Okay.
but I would say anyone over 30 should at least be a year, and that's 30 to 40,
Once a year.
at least.
Okay.
And for our men, do not hide. You need to be coming as well out to your doctor to see that. As you get older, you want to increase that. Now, if you have some family history, you may want to have a good relationship with your physician so that you can be able to get those things done.
Okay.
This month we have a lot of free screening out there for Stroke Awareness Month. We're doing a lot at Bon Secours. We have one this Friday from 11 to 2. I was saying I'll be at 31st Street Baptist Church this Sunday. And it's important for you to know your baseline so that you can know whether you need to get treatment and assistance.
Okay. And you will be providing a screening at 31st Street Baptist Church on this Sunday, and that's May the 20th. And would you give us the time on that?
The time it'll be after church, so we'll start right at 1 o'clock and do it from 1 to 3. And we're also doing it at St. Mary's this Friday from 11 to 2. All of these are free screenings, and we'll have educational opportunities to sit and talk to you about what are some things you can do.
Okay. And if I came to 31st Street on Sunday at 1 o'clock, what type of tests will I be able to have done?
You'll be able to
Screening.
get your blood pressure screening,
Okay.
and then I'm going to do a stroke risk assessment with you. So
Wonderful.
we'll go over some things that may put you at risk for stroke and
Okay.
have that one-on-one conversation with you.
Okay. And any other tests like cholesterol or?
We will not be doing cholesterol
Okay.
screening, but I may be able to tell you where to go, what
Wonderful.
caravans and what things are offered to you to get that done,
And diabetes.
and diabetes as well.
Okay,
That
so
is
that'll
correct.
be information on diabetes and cholesterol, but you all will be doing blood pressure screening.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And that's at 31st Street Baptist Church on this Sunday. Don't forget, right after church at 1 o'clock, and that's at 823 North 31st Street if you want to get your blood pressure checked. And I know they will be happy to do that for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lane. And Joe, you want to tell us a little bit about the Guardian Angels and your
Yes.
program?
Oh, yes. The Guardian Angels, the Richmond Guardian Angels, this is our second year here in Richmond. The Guardian Angels started 32 years ago in New York City, and we started started the organization here as well, or a chapter of the organization 2 years ago. And that was to help combat the crime here in Richmond.
Wonderful. Okay. And you want to speak a little bit about the walk that you all are speaking about? Or?
Yes, indeed. It's called the Time to Live. This is our first annual breast cancer awareness walk. Now, this walk is not to raise money, it's to raise awareness. We are going to actually be going door to door in 7 different locations of the city, knocking on doors and speaking with people about breast health, as well as dropping off a lot of information. And we know in most of the areas that we're going to be walking in low-income areas. And what happens in low-income areas is they just don't get the tests as they should get in a timely fashion. And 98% of people that actually get cancer, breast cancer, that actually has breast cancer, if they detect it early, they live for at least 5 years. I mean, when we went the Race for a Cure this weekend, they had the line of people that were 1 year free, 2 year free, 5 year free, 10 year free, 15 year free. I love to see those 15 year free.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And we know that early intervention is the key. That's right. And we want to give out some information on those trainings. We will have some trainings this weekend to prepare individuals who would like to go out and walk with us on June 2nd. So I'm going to give out that information later on in the show. And we want to get Dr. Hollins, give her a chance to talk a little bit about cervical cancer. We know that's such just an interesting, great topic for women in our community.
You know, cervical cancer is very important to talk about for women because one of the if there's a nice thing to say about a cancer, cervical cancer is a very slow growing cancer. It can be detected extremely early and is very treatable. So one of the things that women can do for themselves over a lifetime is definitely go to visit their gynecologist, talk to them about cervical cancer, and participate in routine screenings to prevent a diagnosis of cervical cancer. The most common thing we do to prevent cervical cancer is going to be pap smears. And pap smears are done in intervals of 1 year, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 5 years. And it really depends on a woman's risk factors. So that's one of those decisions you would make personally with your doctor. The other wonderful thing about cervical cancer is it is one of the cancers that we've done lots of research on and we've found lots of answers to. We know where it comes from and we know what causes it. And it's human papillomavirus. And it is the most wonderful thing that has happened in the last several years is the development of the Gardasil vaccine. And that's a vaccine against cervical cancer. And it's available to young women between the ages of 9 and 27. And that's something that we definitely recommend for all women who are of that age range.
Now, Dr. Hollins, I have a question. Some women who may be between the ages of 55 and 75, and they are still having sexual intercourse, they may be concerned about having a pap test done because they said, well, you know, I just have one partner and I'm not having sex with a lot of different people. But I'm wondering, for my age, you know, they may be concerned if they're 55 to 75. Do I really need to go in and have a pap smear done?
Well, my answer would be is you really need to go in and see your gynecologist. We routinely recommend to continue having pap smears at least until the age of 65. That would be the national cutoff. But remember, everyone is very different. If we have a very active, youthful woman who is 65, very active in her sex life and everything else, we may continue to screen. Our screening has gotten much better so that woman who is 60 years old, she's only having sex with one partner. We have done a pap smear. The pap smear is normal. We've checked for those types of HPV that cause cervical cancer, particularly 16 and 18, because we have the technology to do that. And so pap smear is negative. They do not have HPV. Those women don't have to have another pap smear for another 5 years. Okay. And that's some of the newest technology that we have, and we can give them protection, knowing that they don't have a high risk of developing cancer. Discontinuing pap smears between the age of 65 and 70 is routine.
Okay, so that's between 65 and 70. Even if they're still sexually active, because we have some women that say, you know, I'm 75, but I'm still sexually active.
I met a nice young lady who was 88 who was still sexually
That's
active.
right.
Coming
Yeah.
to see me the other day.
That's right.
And she may not have needed a pap smear, but she still needed annual pelvic exams.
Good.
Because cervical cancer is treatable. We can prevent it. We actually don't look for cervical cancer
Right.
anymore. We look for precursors to cervical cancer. But ovarian cancer still exists, and examinations still need to be done.
Good. And this is what type of information we want to get out there to our ladies so that they will know. And this, I'm going to back up and talk about the trainings this weekend and the trainings that are coming up. The trainings this weekend for the Breast Cancer Awareness Walk June 2nd. However, we want to train as many women and men both as possible. Will take place at First Baptist Church, and that's at 2709 Monument Avenue. That training is from 10 to 11:30 a.m. on Saturday, May 19th. That's this coming Saturday. The Ebenezer Baptist Church, 216 West Lee Street. The training is May 19th, this Saturday, from 10 until 11:30. Then Bethlehem Baptist Church, my church, 1920 Fairmount Avenue, will be May the 19th from 10 a.m. until 11:30. 31st Street Baptist Church, 823 North 31st Street, will be May 24th. And that training will be held from 7 in the evening until 8 p.m. And then Morning Star Baptist Church, located in Southside, at 3509 Midlothian Turnpike, will be May 22nd, 7 in the evening until 8 p.m. Second Baptist Church, 3300 Broad Rock Boulevard, will be May 19th, this Saturday, from 1:30 until 3 p.m. And Fresh Anointing Cathedral, located at 3001 2nd Avenue, will be this Saturday from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. Now, some women and men within the community may say, well, you know, I don't have time to come in and listen to someone talk about breast cancer. But we know for a fact that early intervention is the key. And we are trying to just recruit as many women and men as possible, because men have breast cancer too. And of course, they're not prevalent as we are as women, but we do have a lot of cases among men as well. And this is not a walk, like Joe said, for any type of fundraising. This is a walk to promote awareness, and every tiny little bit of information that we can put out there in the community for people to grasp in on will help our community and help our young women and our men to live longer lives. So if you want to get that training, please show up at those churches that I've given out at the specific time on this Saturday, or they have the training at Morning Star on May 22nd, 7 to 8, and then on May 24th at 31st Street Baptist, which is located 823 North 31st, on May 24th, the 7 to 8 p.m. And the other trainings are all this Saturday. So make sure, and if you have any questions, Joe, you want to give your number out?
Yes.
They can call you?
Yes, definitely. I can be reached at 804-937-6836. Again, 804-937-6836. Or you can go to the website and sign up at www.Coleman Central VA, which is www.ComenCentralVA.org/time to live walk.
So we're hoping that you will participate with us. Come to the churches. A lot of the churches will have continental breakfast and coffee and pastries and juice and what have you, and you just be there for like an hour and a half. It's not gonna take all day to prepare us to go to knock on the door and give some information concerning breast cancer awareness and to promote early detection. Now, I just want to ask Dr. Hollings, are there any signs and symptoms of someone who may have cervical cancer?
Some people may not have any signs and symptoms of cervical cancer at all, but some of the more common ones that we'll hear more frequently are bleeding after sex.
Okay.
That can be very common. Abnormal discharge, sometimes foul smelling, sometimes normal smelling, and irregular bleeding. So it may not be your period, but you may be bleeding. Those are some of the bigger signs. Late stage cervical cancer, because cervical cancer can spread to the surrounding organs and to the bone, can be back pain. It can be very debilitating. And this is why this is one of the cancers that needs to be found in a screening test more so than late stage.
Okay, so early detection is the key for
Early detection.
cervical cancer as well. Okay, so it's very important that women get that Pap test.
It is very important that women get the Pap smear test.
Okay,
Because what I find and what I diagnose in my office is early changes of the cervix that could develop into a cervical cancer, usually over 10 to 15 years. So
Okay.
we're able to catch those very early changes in the cervix, and we're able to do small procedures, something called a LEAP, people may be familiar with. So usually what would happen is a woman would come to an office for an annual exam. We talk about everything we need to talk about. We offer the Pap smear as a routine screening for any woman above the age of 21. We don't do any Pap smears in people under the age of 21. It's not recommended. If those Pap smears are abnormal at all, that's when we start to bring the patients back in for extra testing.
okay,
And that would usually be a colposcopy. And what that is that would be a microscopic examination of the cervix to look at it very closely. And we take biopsies as necessary.
wonderful. Okay, and I see that they put the number up on the screen. If you have any questions from any of these ladies or any questions that you want answered this evening, please give us a call. We certainly would appreciate it. And I want to go back to you, Ms. Lane, about the stroke. We really want to promote Stroke Awareness Month. Some of these illnesses we should have in the forefront every month. But we do know for a fact that we do have certain illnesses that are placed out there for certain months, and we appreciate that.
Right.
But could you give us some of the other signs and symptoms or whatever you think that would be beneficial to us to know about stroke awareness?
So we talked about fast. Everybody has that. And then I said I want everybody to know their numbers.
Good.
So what numbers am I talking about? The first one is your blood pressure. We want everybody's blood pressure to be 120 over 80 or below. Believe
Okay.
it, 120 over 80 is really considered pre-hypertensive. And we really look at that right away to know what's going on, and we'll start doing your diet. The other numbers that we look at are your cholesterol numbers. We have a total cholesterol, then we have what we call a HDL cholesterol and an LDL. The HDL, we call that the healthy one. So we
Okay.
want that to be high. The LDL, I call it the lethal one. So we want it to be low.
Okay.
Okay, and I want that LDL to be under 100. The other number that you said importantly was diabetes.
Okay.
Diabetes and stroke is a bad thing or a bad combination. We like everybody's blood sugar, and everybody will say, my sugar's high, my sugar's high. We want that to be really under 100. Or now we have a real sophisticated test that we call A1C, and we want that to be less than 7%. The other thing I want people to really know that now we're in the 21st century. Do not be afraid of stroke. We can treat that hypertension if you come. I think for all of the things that we're talking about today,
Yeah.
is you gotta come and know.
Yeah.
Know your body, know your baseline, and there are things that help you. Because now we can actually treat some types of strokes within the first 3 hours with a specific clot buster to dissolve that clot or get rid of it. And so that's why we want people to know those signs and symptoms of fast. If you're having a headache or something is you're really not feeling well, go to the emergency room and call 911 for us to be able to help you at a primary stroke care center.
Okay.
I know other people also talk about diet and food and things like that, and they're like, it's so expensive to eat healthy. And so some of the things that you can do is don't ever go to a grocery store hungry because you're going to go and buy more food. I mean, the practical things when you think about it is
Right,
true,
that's
will really
true.
help you. And work the outside of the grocery store first because that's where all your good things are.
Right.
So you can get that exercise in and training for the walk that we're talking about. And
Right.
work that outside in and
Yeah.
try to stay away from those canned foods that are really high in sodium. So there are some things that you can do. And the
Right.
American Heart Association has all kinds of things on their website, applications that you can be able to plan your meals to help. So I know it's
My
tough.
problem is I love potato chips. That's my problem.
I know.
And that's really bad.
Well, there's some other things. Is it that you like the potato chip or that you like the crunch?
I think I like the salt. And
You
that's
like, all right, we'll have to work with you on some substitutes there. But,
Yeah.
you know, there are some things that you can do to have less.
Right. And how about if you don't have much money? You know, a lot of us are saying, you know, well, we
Yeah.
live on a fixed income and we don't have a lot of funds for a lot of food, fruits and stuff. But there are some
There are.
canned fruits that we can buy without all that
Without
syrup in
that,
it, isn't it?
exactly right. And there is a great website. You have to use your glass, but the USDA has a low-cost food plan of healthy foods.
Sorry,
Stuff like
Mr.
that.
Caller, if you don't mind, if you would give us a call back. Thank you so much. Sorry we missed you. Okay, and we'll,
So if you go and just Google healthy food budget, that's a website that you can go to by the USDA and CDC that gives you ideas of what you can do and what you can buy on a budget. So there really are things that you can do now to be able to help with that.
right. But I was asking about canned fruits. And in some of the dollar stores,
Yes, as long as it's not in that syrup.
yeah, they do not, yeah, they do have canned fruits and they're not necessarily in the syrup. Or they may say light syrup.
Yeah,
Or they may say no syrup.
right.
That would be okay to buy, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good evening, and thanks for calling. Hello? Yeah, I think, caller, you need to turn your TV down. Yeah, give us a call back and just turn your TV down. Thanks so much. And I was looking at some of the, let me take this call first. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How y'all ladies doing this evening?
Doing good. How about you? Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thank you for having this program on. I just want to ask a few questions. I got a thing for those frozen vegetables, you know, that they have the mixtures and everything and all mixed up with different things. Is that okay to eat?
Frozen vegetables are actually good to eat. Now, here's what I want to ask you. How are you cooking those frozen vegetables?
I have to admit, I just put them in the microwave.
Oh, that's good. So that's like steaming them. I was just going to say, you know, try to stay away from any of oils or frying them. But steamed vegetables actually are very good. And
Yeah, well, I've been baking for a while now. So, but if I do cook on the stove, I normally bake. Very few. I even bake the bacon. So you know, I don't do a lot of frying.
that's good.
But-
That's good.
And I also wanted to ask you about now you was talking a few minutes ago about high blood pressure, you know. But now that pill, that blood pressure pill, is a trip right now because it is causing liver damage. Oh, what damage is it causing now?
What pill are you talking about?
That they give you for high blood pressure.
Well, there's so many pills out there for high blood pressure, and that's the one thing I would say, and that's why you want to build a rapport and don't believe everything off the internet with your.
Well, now my doctor, now she said, well, see, my pressure is fine now.
Okay.
So and she told me where on my record I had on there a high blood pressure pill. She asked me, was I still? I said, no, I'm not. She said, your pressure is fine. She said, I'm glad you're not taking it. Don't even try to take it. Because I was telling her, sometimes I have a headache, and nothing else would do. And I would pop one of those pills in there, and it would get rid of my headache. She said she don't want me even taking it that way. She says it causes damage. It's causing damage to people's livers and everything. So I'm completely off of that. But getting into that, I was wondering, could any of your ladies recommend? I'm really against the chemicals that we're putting in our bodies that we call prescription drugs, period. And I was wondering, could you recommend doctors who deal with alternative medications and stuff like, or alternative medical procedures or whatever? Because I really don't want to take any more pills. And I'm interested in that. And what I don't use salt. I use I love that thick. I think it's teriyaki sauce. And I use that in my vegetables and stuff like that. Soy, which I thought soy comes from the soybean and all that stuff. So I was wondering whether that's good.
No. So some of the things that I have found are really good are like your light balsamic salad dressings. Anything like that are very good, especially with steamed
vegetables. That's good in vegetables?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I only
put some salmon with it and you'll be rolling.
Okay, because I only use it like in cooking and like meat and salads. I didn't know it was good for vegetables.
Oh, it's very good. It's very tasty.
Okay. All right. Well, that was all I had to ask. I just wanted, if y'all knew about anything, doctors who don't be prescribing all these pills, and that's the only thing I'm interested in. And I'll get off the phone. and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, we are talking, we are talking from a medical standpoint. So, we don't have that information. Yeah. She would have to go, a little bit further than this show to get that information.
Right.
But anyway, I'm so happy that we could help her. And a lot of people, they said that they're not using salt per se, but they are using different sauces. And if they look on that, if they read that label, a lot of times they're more saltier than the salt. So we have to start reading labels again. Yes. A lot of us started reading labels years ago, and then we got away from it. But we have to go back to reading those labels again.
That's right.
And cut down on all that salt.
Oh, is that the phone? I like the canned corn, but if you read it, it has a lot of sodium in it.
Yeah,
anything can.
It does. And I know I heard you say about potato chips, and I found some that they are no salt at all.
Okay.
So it's written on the bag very big, no salt potato chips. Good evening, and thanks for calling.
Yes, good evening. Very nice show. Much needed.
Thank you.
Just got a question for Dr. Hollings, I think.
Yes.
If she mentioned the HPV and the Gardasil vaccine, and I was wondering if she knew how safe that is, because I know they're kind of pushing it on school children. Do you know anything about the safety of the vaccine itself?
The vaccine is actually very safe. It's made with the same standards of all the other vaccines that are known. There's going to be a side effect to lots of medications, like the other caller had mentioned. But the most common side effects to any vaccine are going to be allergic reactions. The other side effect is you can get an immediate faint or weakness after the vaccine. The other thing that oftentimes happens is a sore spot. So if anybody ever remember getting a flu shot, you may have a sore arm the next day.
Okay, do you know how long that's been tested? I know it's probably been approved by FDA, but sometimes it doesn't seem to be adequate testing before the vaccine is released in public, you know?
The vaccine has actually been available in recent times. We started giving it out, I want to say 7 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And initially, when we were first giving it out, there were lots of questions, lots of issues about safety, and lots of things. And over time, we found that those complaints and those side effects have gone down and gone down and gone down. We're giving this vaccine to an age range of girls that have a lot of problems. Think that between the age of 9 and 18, girls go through a lot of changes. A lot of things happen to people. And if anything happens during the time period of you receiving a vaccine, that has to be reported, and it's considered a side effect. But over time, we have not found many problems at all with the vaccine. I do make one recommendation. Girls who are going to college and do have to get vaccinations for meningitis, I don't recommend doing those vaccines at the same time. So
I
have a
see. I
6-month
understand
window.
the Gardasil vaccine is also being recommended for young boys now. Is that correct?
Yes, it is definitely being recommended for young boys, because the HPV has to come and go from somewhere. So it doesn't make sense just to protect our little girls. We should protect the boys as well, because HPV causes cervical cancer. People participate in oral sex, and that same virus can cause nodes on the vocal cords and other diseases. And men also, men having sex with men, we get anal cancer and all those different things. So the vaccine is preventive in all of those diseases.
I see. Okay. I think that's it for me, and thank you for your show and your information.
Thank you, caller, for calling in. We really appreciate it. We're so happy that you called.
Thank
Yes, and I'm so happy that he called to ask those questions, because it may be some other folk out there in the community that wanted to know that information and just had not had an opportunity to call in to find out about it. And we're just so happy that we have the opportunity to share this evening. And I do have some information that I need to share very quickly for people, individuals in our community, and it's so important. All of us are aware of the bus shuttle, and this is for different shoppers in different areas of the city that they are going to Walmart. And of course, we would like to entrust in all of the citizens to know about these shuttles and to use them. They have one leaving Hillside Court, Brady Lynn Haven, Jeff Davis Yorktown, and Jeff Davis Terminal, and they are going to Walmart. And also 4th Avenue, the 4th Avenue high rise, that's over in your area, Joe. The Fay Tower, and that shuttle goes to the Walmart as well. And a survey was done with the shoppers that ride these shuttles, and they thought that Walmart had the best, prices that they could go out there and shop around in there. And then they have the shuttle leaving Creighton, Fairfield, 23rd and Selden, the Fairman House, and then that one stops at the Walmart as well. And also Wickham, Success and Wickham, Accommodation and Gay Street, Mosby, and that one goes to the Walmart as well. And what we're going to try to do is to find out how we can get some of these posted, maybe on this show at different times, so that they can folk in the community can see this information and use these shuttles, because it's very important that the city keep these shuttles running, because a lot of people depend on these shuttles to get to the store, to get different articles, and also to get their groceries. So just want to put that out there as well. And also, they have the mayor, Mayor Dwight Jones, has formed an anti-poverty commission, and they're going to have public forums, and we want folk to know about that. We think these things are important. And the first forum will be held at the Calhoun Center, and that's going to be on May 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. in the evening. And the Calhoun Center is located in Gilpin Court, and that's at 436 Calhoun Street. And these are the public forums for the mayor's anti-poverty commission. The other one will be held, there's only two of them, will be held Wednesday, May 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. And that's going to be at the South Side Community Service Center, 4100 Hull Street. And for more information, of course, you can go into the richmondgov.com commission anti-poverty. And of course, you can find out more information on that website as well. Okay. And Joe, I want to find out if you want to beef up again those folk to come on out to those trainings, and also we can get some folk out on June 2nd. But they have to get trained
Yes,
this
definitely,
weekend.
definitely. Please come out and get trained. Miss Eleanor gave you the schedule for the training. Now, we also have the walk is actually June 2nd. For those of you actually that cannot come out and get trained, you can still do the walk. So please come out on June 2nd to the churches, and let me just read those again. We have 31st Street Baptist Church at 823 North 31st Street, Bethlehem Baptist Church at 1920 Fairmont Avenue, Ebenezer Baptist Church at 216 West Lee Street, Fresh Anointing Cathedral at 3001 2nd Avenue, Morning Star Baptist Church at 3509 Midlothian Turnpike, Richmond First Baptist Church at 2709 Monument, and Second Baptist Church at 3300 Broad Rock Boulevard. If you come out on June 2nd, please come at 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. we will have a meet and greet and a brief training session as well. And then we'll be out walking and speaking with people and trying to save some lives from 10 to 12 noon on June 2nd.
And if they have any questions, Joe, they can reach you on your number where?
Yes, at 804-937-6836.
Okay, and I just would like to say very quickly that this weekend on May 19th, if you want to come out and take this little training and fellowship with some good folk and do a continental breakfast, the trainings will be taking place at First Baptist Church, 2709 Monument Avenue, May 19th, 10 until 11:30. Ebenezer Baptist Church, 216 West Lee, May 19th, 10 until 11:30. Bethlehem Baptist Church, that's my church, at 1920 Fairmont Avenue. That's this Saturday from 10 until 11:30. 31st Street Baptist Church will have its training on May 24th from 7 until 8 p.m. in the evening. Morning Star will have, Baptist Church will have their training at 3509 Midlothian Turnpike, May 22nd from 7 to 8 p.m., and that's in the evening. And of course, Second Baptist, 3300 Broad Rock Road, they're going to meet this Saturday from 1:30 until 3 for their training. And Fresh Anointing Cathedral, 3001 2nd Avenue, they will meet this Saturday from 10 until 11:30 a.m. And Ms. Lane, I want you to talk about what you'll be doing at 31st Street Baptist Church this Sunday.
Okay, I also want to give out a number just in case after today anybody wants any information on stroke and stroke awareness. That number is 804-359-WELL. And then on this weekend, we will be working with, I'm working with the pastor there. He's going to talk a little bit about stroke and its risk factors. And we're going to be doing blood pressure screenings. And we are also going to be able to do some counseling and talk to people about their individual healthy lifestyle habits. And I do want to say this, it's not going to, it's not going to change overnight. You have to work at this, okay? It is something that will take time, but we need to change your lifestyle behaviors, and that does take time.
Right.
Faith and prayer.
And when is the screening?
The screening will be starting at 1 o'clock that day.
On when? When is that?
On Sunday.
Sunday.
It will be Sunday at 31st. And then, like I said, at Bon Secours, we will have it on this Friday at St. Mary's. And then that time will be from 11 to 2. And then on next Thursday evening, we're having families and their children to come and learn about signs and symptoms of stroke. And
Where
that'll
is
be
that?
Thursday from 6 to 7:30 at St. Francis Medical Center. And that's on the other side of town.
Right.
Just so people can know. Because you know what? Your grandkids may be home with you and something may happen. So we want them to be able to recognize the signs and symptoms and learn how to call 911.
Okay, very good. And Doc, we're going to ask that if you could say something about cervical cancer and just give us a little, anything you want to say about information that could help this community.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I want to piggyback on something that Pat said. It is important that everybody know about stroke. I have a personal family history of it, and even though patients are coming to see me, being the obstetrician gynecologist, my first question is, do you smoke, your blood pressure, and all those other things, because it's extremely important. And just like the caller said, I don't like taking all those pills. I really encourage my patients to take all those pills. We can treat your cervical cancer if we catch it a year or so late. We can take care of other things, your breast cancer if we're a couple months off. We lose time on a stroke, we've lost brain cells. So that's extremely important. As far as cervical cancer is concerned, it is a cancer that we don't have to ever see again. In the United States, we've decreased the amount of cervical cancer by 70% in the last 50 years just by the invention of the pap smear and the utilization of that. And now with the Gardasil vaccine, cervical cancer can be something that is extinct within the next 20 to 30 years. So I definitely recommend that all parents vaccinate their children and go along with those guidelines, because we don't want our community to be the only ones left behind still having cervical cancer 20 to 30 years from now.
Yes. Yes. Because we are all, and you must remember that we are all working together to keep communities healthy. And that's very, very important. And that's why we just love having this show, so that we can share information with this community. And we hope to see you again next week. And of course, next week we will be talking about, this is also Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month. There's a lot going on this month. There's a lot going on. We love it. And so we will have Gail Grant here from the Richmond City Health District to talk about teen pregnancy prevention and what good efforts are being done here in the city and in the central region concerning that. And also we're going to talk about, one of my passions. I sort of wear a lot of hats, but my passions still remain to be HIV and AIDS and sexually transmitted disease. So we'll have someone on next week. Pam is going to be here from the Richmond City Health District to talk about that, and also Robert Johnson from the State Health Department. So we'll have a good show and a good lineup for you all next week as well. Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Hi, good evening.
Yes.
Eleanor, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not going to take you there, but we were friends. Sergine from Venable Street.
Oh, yes. Okay.
This is Sylvia.
Oh, how are
Oh,
you?
darling, oh, God is good. That's all I can say.
He is.
I just wanted to ask you about the what's going on Monument First Baptist.
Oh, okay.
This Saturday, 2709.
Yes. They have a training there for early detection of breast cancer. And the walk is not until June 2nd.
Okay.
But they're bringing folk in to train them so that we can get ready for the walk on June 2nd.
Okay,
So
darling.
they'll be there from 10 to 11:30 at
Okay.
First Baptist Church at 2709 Monument Avenue.
Okay,
And if
darling.
you want to carry some of your friends to that site, that'll be wonderful. We would certainly appreciate it.
Yes, darling.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you, baby.
Thanks so much.
Your skin look beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
God bless you, baby.
Thank you, darling. Same to
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye, darling. Oh, yeah. Okay, and so all of us have this passion for, our community. And, of course, what we would like to do is to try to encourage folk to listen. And we know that, we've been out here for years. We know that behaviors don't change overnight. I was a smoker myself. And my doctor tried to tell me to get off those cigarettes for about 20 years. And I was like, yeah, right on, and all this and that. And I made up my mind that I was going to give them up, and I did. And it was a blessing that I did. But I know it takes time. So we don't mind working with folk to help them to get to where they need to be. And we can tell you, if you can't lower this risk, we got some other things that you can lower to lower your risk of having a stroke. And my husband had a stroke, and I've been working with him since about 2006. So I've, gone down that road too. So that's another reason that my heart is into, getting these health issues out there as far as stroke and high blood pressure and all that good stuff is concerned. And we don't need to look at these things as being a bad omen, because we can do some things, good things for these type of illnesses, and we can treat them. And that's what makes the difference. We can treat them. Yes, indeed. So if you all had anything that you want to say very quickly, leave with something very good for the community, what would you say?
I would say make sure you take care of your health by keeping your weight down, keeping your blood pressure under control, and going to see your primary doctor, as well as myself, your gynecologist, on a yearly basis, and find a good relationship with your physician, and that'll help you a long way.
Thank you, Dr. Hollins.
And I would just say, please come out on June 6th and help us
June
with this
2nd.
walk. On June 2nd, Saturday, June 2nd, and help us with this walk. You could very well save someone's life.
And I want to say, remember to think fast. Remember those signs and symptoms for stroke. And it's very important that we keep our community, and we're all very passionate about that.
Oh, yes.
And so let us help you. Come on out and see what we can do. And I know it's hard to change, but we're willing to be there to help you to do that. Reach out.
Oh, yes. And I would just like to say, if you have not been tested, I'm an advocate for HIV testing, and if you have not been tested for HIV, that you think about it and think about going in and get tested. We need everyone to know that HIV status. Early intervention is certainly the key for HIV as well. And if you have not had a test for chlamydia or gonorrhea or syphilis in less than 5 or 6 years, and you said, well, I'm out there and I'm doing a little something and I don't use condoms all the time, we are saying that you need to be tested. It doesn't matter if you say, well, I've only had 1 or 2 partners. Well, the fact of it is, we know for a fact that it only takes one time to become infected with these sexually transmitted disease. And we are asking that you take control of your health, not only for STDs or HIV or strokes or what have you, but just take control of your life and take control of your health. And we would certainly appreciate that. We've been out here stomping these bricks for a long time, and we are not about to stop now. And thank all of you for tuning in with us, and we are hoping that you're going to tune in with us again next week. Thanks so much. And the fact of it is, we know that we want to not forget the public forums, and I'm going to say that for the Mayor's Anti-Poverty Commission, and it's going to be held Monday, May 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Calhoun Center, and get a group of people and go on over there if you can. And then that's Monday, May 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, May 23rd, they'll have the same forum, the Mayor's Anti-Poverty Commission Public Forum from 6 to 8 on Wednesday, May 23rd at the Southside Community Service Center, and that's at 4100 Hull Street. And I gave you all the email address on that. The website is richmond.gov.com/commission anti-poverty. If you have any questions, tune into that. You can tune into that website. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week. Have a good evening.
Do you want me to tell? Can I
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
the people that we're working with the breast
Yes.
cancer awareness?
Yeah.
Okay, we are working with, for the breast cancer walk, we are working with VCU Massey Cancer Center,
Wonderful.
Susan G. Komen for the Cure, Virginia Breast Cancer Foundation, Crossover Ministries, Virginia Department of Health, Fan Free Clinic, Bonser Course, and Capital Area Health Network.
Wonderful, and thanks so much. That's why it takes all of us on it to be in this village.
Yes, indeed.
Because where one of us forgets something, the other one won't. And we love it.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So we really appreciate you naming those shareholders. And of course, they appreciate us naming them as well.
How many homes do you plan to comb when you go out?
We are thinking that we can reach at least 100 homes per hub, so that would be 700.
Wow.
Yeah, but hopefully more. We have 1,500 bags packed, ready to give out. So if we can get enough walkers to do 1,500, that's what we want.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we'll double it next year and double it the year after.
right. That's true.
I just want to give out our number again, 804-359-WELL, and that will help you to know where you can go for whatever you need.
Good.
We also have a caravan that does go around the city of Richmond, and so if you can call that number, they can help you with some of those free screenings that we were talking about.
Wonderful.
And all the events that you can go to that are free. This Friday, like I said, we're having something at St. Mary's. We're going to have free lunch. We'll talk about some of the healthy things that you need to do. We got valet parking. We're giving away some massages and free gas cards. So that alone
So what
may be
time
something.
is that? So
that
that
is
folk will
from
know.
11 to 2
Good.
at St. Mary's.
Wonderful.
Free valet parking and massage.
And where's St. Mary's located?
St. Mary's is on Bremo Road.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I'd like to thank all my guests for coming in this evening, and
Thank
you
you for
all
having
did
us.
a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank all of you so very much. Yes, indeed.
So it's still talking.